Ever feel like there's some kind of secret formula for success? Like a hidden code that unlocks abundance and all that. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a book that claims to have cracked that code.
And get this, it was written over a century ago.
No way. What's the book called?
It's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
The Science of Getting Rich. That's a bold title.
It definitely is, and it really pulls you in. Published back in 1910, it's amazing how relevant it still is today. I mean, even modern-day thinkers like, the folks behind The Secret were massively inspired by it.
Wow, that's really saying something. So you shared some articles and excerpts with me, and honestly, when I saw that title, The Science of Getting Rich, I was a little skeptical. It feels a bit, I don't know, like a promise, like one of those get-rich-quick schemes.
Right, right. I totally get it. But Wattles wasn't about that at all. He wasn't peddling some kind of, shortcut to riches. He truly believed that there are universal laws, just like the laws of nature, that actually govern wealth creation.
Okay, so this isn't about magic spells or winning lottery tickets then.
Yeah. Not exactly. Think of it more like understanding the rules of a game. Let's say you want to be good at basketball. You're not going to just show up and magically sink every shot, right?
Right. You got to learn the fundamentals, like dribbling, passing, shooting. Practice makes perfect, as they say.
Exactly. And Wattles believed that the same principle applies to wealth. He called it the certain way, a specific way of thinking and acting that can unlock abundance, regardless of your background or, well, even your current situation.
That's pretty profound. So it's less about luck and more about tapping into something, I don't know, something that's already there, maybe waiting to be accessed.
Exactly. And one of the first things Wattles tackles is our mindset when it comes to wealth. He dives deep into this idea of, have you heard of prosperity consciousness versus poverty consciousness?
I think I've heard those terms before, but I'm not sure I fully understand them.
Well, have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth, while others, even if they're super talented and work really hard, they just, well, struggle?
Oh, absolutely. It's like some people just radiate this energy of abundance. Then there are others who always seem to be waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. And Wattles would say those two types of people are operating from completely opposite ends of the spectrum. That's where prosperity consciousness and poverty consciousness come in. He strongly believed that your dominant thoughts about wealth, what you focus on most, actually end up shaping your reality.
Or if you're constantly worried about money, focused on lack, or thinking about what you don't have, you're actually blocking abundance from coming into your life.
That's exactly it. It's like that old saying, what is it? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your mindset truly is everything.
Wow. So how do we shift from poverty consciousness to this prosperity consciousness thing?
Well, it starts with changing your internal dialogue. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, you start asking yourself, how can I create the abundance to have that? It's about shifting from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of possibilities.
So instead of focusing on what you lack, you focus on what you want to create.
Exactly. And this isn't just about wishful thinking. Wattles firmly believed that when you align your thoughts with prosperity consciousness, with that belief in your own worthiness of wealth, you tap into a universal creative force that can actually make those riches a reality.
So you're saying our thoughts have power, like actual power to manifest things into being.
Precisely. He called this power formless substance, and he described it as this invisible energy or power from which everything in the universe is made.
Formless substance. So if I'm constantly stressing about bills and debt, feeling like I never have enough, am I sending a message to this formless substance to create more of that in my life?
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly how it works according to Wattles. But the good news is it works both ways.
So when you cultivate thoughts of abundance, generosity, gratitude, you're sending a different kind of message. One that attracts more positive experiences and outcomes into your life.
Exactly. But here's the catch.
So there's this whole prosperity consciousness
Yeah.
thing, right? Like believing you deserve wealth and all that. But what about actually taking action? What did Wattles have to say about that?
Well, he was really clear that it's not enough to just think positive thoughts and hope for the best.
Right. You can't just wish your way to wealth, can you?
Exactly. He actually called people who did that wishful thinkers and said they were fooling themselves. He believed that action is crucial.
Okay. So no more wishing on dandelions. Got it.
Yeah.
But what kind of action are we talking about here? Is it just about, working harder, longer hours, Hustling nonstop.
That's where Wattles gets really interesting. It wasn't just about working yourself to the bone. He was very specific about it needing to be efficient, purposeful action. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're really craving a delicious homemade pizza, right?
Ooh, you know me too well. Pizza is my weakness. What kind are we thinking?
Let's go with all the toppings. Now, picture yourself really craving that pizza. According to Wattles, you wouldn't just sit there and stare at the oven, willing the pizza to magically appear, right?
No, of course not. I'd be pulling out my favorite recipe, grabbing my ingredients, preheating the oven.
Exactly. You'd take action. But not just any action, right? You wouldn't start baking a cake if what you really wanted was pizza.
Right. You got to take specific actions that line up with what you want to create.
Exactly. And in this case, it's those pizza ingredients. Each one is important, and they all work together to create the final product.
Okay, so, like with our goals, we need to break them down and figure out the ingredients, those specific actions that will lead to the outcome we desire.
Precisely. And Wattles believed that when you combine this clear vision of what you want, like picturing that perfect pizza with those purposeful actions, that's when the magic happens.
It's like the universe conspires to help you, but you have to meet it halfway with the right thoughts and actions.
Exactly. It's like you become a magnet for the resources, the opportunities, and even the people you need to make your vision a reality.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not about forcing things to happen, but rather getting clear on what you want and then taking those aligned actions to allow it to unfold.
Exactly. And this whole idea, this combination of the right mindset and the right actions leading to greater abundance, Wattles called it the law of increase. And it's not about, taking from others or competing for a limited piece of something. It's about expanding the possibilities for everyone.
Okay, that's a really important distinction. It's about creating more abundance, not just fighting over what already exists. But in the book, didn't Wattles also talk about finding the right niche or calling? Where does that fit into all of this?
Oh, that's a really important piece of the puzzle. Wattles believed that everyone has some kind of unique talent or gift that they can use to create value in the world. He called this your niche and thought it was crucial to figure out what that is and then really express it fully.
So it's not just about wanting more money in general. It's about finding that thing you're uniquely suited for, and then, through those actions, attracting the abundance you desire.
Exactly. Wattles believed that when you operate from that sweet spot, that place where your passion and your purpose align, you naturally attract the abundance you're meant to have. It's about aligning your actions with your true self.
Okay, I'm really starting to see how all these pieces fit together now. This is fascinating. But there's one thing I'm still curious about. We've been talking a lot about prosperity consciousness and attracting abundance, but it can't all be about, receiving, right? What about giving back? Where does that fit into all of this?
You're right, it's not a one-way street. And that's actually a perfect segue into another really important part of Wattles' philosophy. He was adamant that true wealth isn't just about, hoarding money and stuff. It's about becoming a conduit for abundance, letting it flow through you and into the world.
So it's about more than just writing a big check to your favorite charity at the end of the year, right?
Exactly. It's a whole different way of thinking about wealth. Wattles saw it as a form of service, like when you use your unique skills and passions to create something valuable, to make a positive impact on the world. That's when you really become a magnet for even more abundance.
It's like that saying, givers gain, right? The more you focus on giving, the more you open yourself up to receiving.
Exactly. And it's not just about money either. It's about enriching your life and the lives of others in a million different ways. Think about it this way. When you encounter someone you really admire, someone who inspires you, what is it about them that you're drawn to?
That's a good question. I guess the people I find most inspiring are those who are using their talents, their resources to make a real difference in the world.
Exactly. And that, I think, is really the heart of Wattles' message. Recognizing that we live in an abundant universe, that there's more than enough to go around, and that each of us has the power to tap into that abundance. But it's not just about taking, it's about becoming a part of that flow, allowing abundance to flow through you.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to circle back to those modern-day thinkers who were so heavily influenced by Wattles' work. We talked about Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret, and how she said finding his book was like a flame being lit inside her.
Yeah, and don't forget Bob Proctor. He's a world-renowned success coach, and he said that Wattles' teachings have been the foundation of his entire career, the basis for every program he's created for the past 25 years.
That's amazing. It really speaks to how powerful these ideas are. So for someone listening right now, someone who's feeling inspired and ready to put these principles into practice, what's one small thing they can do today to start shifting their mindset from scarcity to abundance?
That's a great question. I think it can be as simple as asking yourself, what's one small act of generosity I can offer today? It could be anything, complimenting a stranger, helping a friend in need, even just taking a moment to appreciate all the good things in your life. Just remember, abundance is a flow, and it all starts with giving.
Such great advice. So to everyone listening, let's challenge ourselves to stop playing small. It's time to step into that flow of abundance and start creating the lives we deserve. This deep dive has given us all a lot to think about, and I highly recommend checking out Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich, to explore these ideas even further. Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey.